Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. It was a disappointing weekend in Kansas City. What looked like, a period of the season where you were going to make up ground. You had the chance to. The D-backs did lose some games over the weekend, but you're still only 3 games back because you lost the last 2 games to the Royals, and it was very disappointing. And actually, it was so disappointing, and I think we all know what the issues were in those 2 games. They were pretty obvious. The Royals, very aggressive, kind of a style that a lot of us would like to see the Dodgers incorporate more, with hitting behind runners, putting the ball in play, stealing bases, being very aggressive and athletic on the base paths. That style of offense, a lot of us would like to see the Dodgers incorporate more of that into the Dodgers offense instead of just slugging. So I think we know, what went wrong over the weekend. No need to rehash that. So what we're going to do in today's show, I'm actually going to go over all the rookies that have been incorporated into the lineup this year as the trade deadline comes up. Hey, do the Dodgers, do they need to bring up more rookies, or do they need to trade away the rookies and go get some veterans from other teams to bring in to shore up this team? Because, hey, only 3 games back, and again, the expanded playoffs, anything can happen. So I'm going to cover the rookies this year and how they've been incorporated, kind of talk about why and how it's so hard for these rookies to get comfortable at the major league level, the way that the Dodgers have been incorporating them here in the last 3 or 4 years. So got a great show for you today. Before we dive into that, just a reminder, if you'd like to help, we have a GoFundMe account. The link to that is in the description. So all you got to do is click that and it'll take you right to the Dodgers Daily GoFundMe if you'd like to donate. Also, just a reminder, keep leaving your comments. The War Room has been fantastic. Keep liking these videos and keep telling all of your friends about Dodgers Daily. Keep sharing these videos and make sure your notifications are turned on. Okay, so the rookies, Miguelvargas and Jamesoutman, have had the 2 longest runways, and so we'll get into them. We'll get into some of the other guys like jonnydeluca, michaelbusch, and all of them right on the other side. So let's not waste more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. So rookies in the past like jocpederson, Corey Seager, and codybellinger, walkerbuehler, even going back to Claytonkershaw, Dustinmay, Julio Urias, the difference between the way that they were incorporated and the way that the rookies are incorporated now is, although guys like Julio Urias and even walkerbuehler, you can make the case for him, it took them a while to get up to the major leagues, so the Dodgers took their time with them. Once they got to the major leagues, they were never sent back down to the minors for anything other than rehab. They weren't sent back down to development, so they weren't hanging on every single result that came about as far as their performances, because they knew they were up in the major leagues to stay. That has changed over the last 3 or 4 years, and we look at all the different movements the Dodgers have made. Over 130 moves. The Dodgers this year, the Dodgers are always, if not the number 1 club in making moves, one of the number 1 clubs. And in my opinion, that makes it difficult for these rookies to get incorporated and start feeling comfortable at the major league level, unlike they've done in the past. I don't know why they've changed that. Okay, so incorporating the rookies. All right, let's talk about Jamesoutman and Miguelvargas, the 2 rookies that have been given the longest extended period of time. Okay, Jamesoutman, his WRC plus is still hovering around 100. It's been over 100 for the entire year, which means that he has been, right now he's just about as valuable as every other major league outfielder, center fielder. In the months past, leading up till now, he's been actually more valuable. And so I think you can say to this point, Jamesoutman still, a long ways to go, just halfway through. He's been okay. Just as an example, Will Smith, looking at the end of 2019, I think you can parallel Will Smith with the end of his first year in 2019 with kind of what's happened with Jamesoutman as far as his struggles. Outman and Smith both got off to gigantic starts, but if you look at basically the last month of Will Smith's 2019, he had kind of a period that Jamesoutman has been going through here in the last month or 2. As a matter of fact, Will Smith was just 11 for his last 65, which is a 169 average in 2019, which was its first major league year. So I kind of compare Jamesoutman beginning this year to Will Smith and the way that he busted onto the scene in 2019. Both got off to hot starts at the major league level and then cooled down like Outman has, and then like Will Smith did in 2019. Miguel Vargas, can't sugarcoat this one. Vargas has been disappointing, to say the least. He is a better hitter than what he is showing at the major league level. I've talked a couple of different times. I think he, A, needs to get stronger in the offseason, and then B, I think he needs to transition back to more of an east and west type of hitter, because what he always used to do in the past is he used to just clobber that pitch on the outer half, and he used to actually hit that pitch on the outer half to left center, and then he would inside out that inside pitch to right center, and it was just a great combination because you couldn't beat him. If you had 2 strikes on him and you came in on him, he just fist that thing into right center and get a base hit on you. But yet if he was ahead in the count, and he looked for a ball out over the plate, he could pull that ball as well. So Miguel Vargas and Jamesoutman, those two have had tremendous runway. Can't complain about anything there. But what about some of the other guys? Let's get into them. How about JonnyDeluca? Well, how about JonnyDeluca is 2 for his last 5, but that has been over 7 games. So it's taken him 7 games to get 5 at-bats, despite the fact that he's hitting .400 in those 5 at-bats and has an OPS over 900. So talk about not giving a guy a chance to get comfortable at all. 5 at-bats in 7 games for a guy that, by the way, is doing everything he can to get as many at-bats as he possibly can in those at-bats by getting 2 hits out of those 5. Michaelbusch. Okay, now listen carefully. Michaelbusch takes a minute to get comfortable. I've talked about him several different times, and the reason why I always say he needs 200 to 300 at-bats, check this out. He was 10 for his first 52 when he first got moved up to Oklahoma City last year from AA Tulsa. Then in the first month this year, he hit exactly 100. So it took him a while to get acclimated to the AAA level to begin with last year, and then it took him a while at the beginning of this year at AAA to get comfortable again, hitting 100 in his first month. So, like I said, but having said that, his overall average at the AAA level is 289, and his OPS is 900, over 900, despite the fact that it took him so long to get accustomed at the beginning of his career at AAA and then also at the beginning of this year. So that shows you right there, Michaelbusch is a guy that takes a minute to get comfortable, but once you allow him to get comfortable, he is an absolutely awesome hitter. And, hey, he's only had back-to-back games this year. He's only gotten to play in back-to-back games this year on 5 different occasions, and on those occasions he's hitting almost 300. So that goes to show you right there, when the Dodgers have given him a chance to settle into back-to-back nights of at-bats, he's actually been pretty good at the major league level, although the overall numbers don't look good. So Michaelbusch, if you gave him the runway to get comfortable, just like you gave him at the AAA level, he would show you what he's capable of, which is a guy that would probably hit 270 to 280, have an OPS in between 8 and 900, hit about 15 to 20 home runs, and have 85, 90, maybe 100 RBIs. That's the type of, maybe even more than that, that's the type of offensive player that Michaelbusch could be. Okay, how about justinbruihl? justinbruihl has had 4 scoreless outings in a row, but it's taken him all the way back to May 28th to get those 4 outings. So, if you're justinbruihl, you go scoreless, then you get sent back down, then you get brought up, you get scoreless again, then you get sent back down. That is such an extremely, extremely difficult thing to do. I know for a fact it is. And so kudos to justinbruihl, but that's just another example of how difficult it is for these guys to get comfortable. Michael Grove, we've seen him in a starting role, at times be very good, but then make mistakes and give up the long ball. Then we saw him come out in relief and be just fantastic in his 2 innings. You're like, hey, how about that 98-mile-an-hour fastball with the tight slider and the big curveball that he showed that he can pitch backwards with? Let's put that in the pen. Let's make him a 1-inning guy, maybe a 2-inning guy, and we can take that big arm that he has, the great athletic ability, and the good ability to throw his secondaries for strikes, and we can actually help a part of the team that needs to be shored up, which is the bullpen. He looked great in that setting, and then lo and behold, he hasn't pitched in the bullpen since. How about emmetsheehan? Okay, ERA of just 186, whip of 088, and he has average pitching 5.6 innings, almost 5.7 innings in his starts for at the major league level. Bobbymiller, 2.5 runs per outing that he has given up. Okay, we saw the 2 outings that went sideways on him, but overall he's had periods of dominance, and overall he's been pretty good, just 2.5 runs per outing that he's given up, and he's average going 5.4 innings. How does that compare to some of the greatest pitchers in the Dodgers, the history of the Dodgers organization that were brought up through the Dodgers organization recently? Well, how about Clayton Kershaw? It outperforms how Clayton Kershaw did when he first came up to the major league level. As a matter of fact, when Clayton Kershaw first came up, he gave up 2.66 runs per outing, which is more than both Emmetsheehan and Bobby Miller, and he only averaged 4.5 innings in his first 9 starts, which is lower than Sheehan and Miller. So Sheehan and Miller both have outperformed Clayton Kershaw in the runs per outing they've given and the length of their outings both. So there's a great example. How about Walker-Buehler? His ERA was 8.64 after his first 7 starts. So again, Sheehan and Miller, they've outperformed Walker-Buehler as well. And we talked about Will Smith. I comp that to how jamesoutman got off to a really blazing start and then cooled off just like Will Smith did. Again, I'm going to remind you, he was 11 for his last 65. Will Smith was the all-star catcher this year. That's just 169 to finish his 2019 season. And you also remember that Austin Barnes had to come in and catch the last couple games in 2020 to take care of the staff. Jocpederson, he hit 143 in his first month, and in his second year, he hit 236 in May, 222 in June, 169 in July, 120 in August, 197 in September. Codybellinger, we know he had the great 2019, but how about this? He hit 267, 260, 239, 165, and 210 in all of his other years with the Dodgers, other than 2019, which was fantastic. So that just goes to show you, hey, Dustinmay, and I'm going to go back to Dustinmay and Clayton Kershaw, Julio Urias, Jocpederson, Corey Seager, who just came out blazing in 2015, has been fantastic ever since. All of those guys, I'm going to say it again though, once they made it to the major leagues, they weren't sent back down. They didn't have to deal with the emotions of, hey, if I'm not successful in this outing, then I'm not going to be in the major leagues any longer. So the irony to that is the Dodgers do such a wonderful job in their minor league settings of preaching process, meaning, hey, just worry about, what you can do, worry about what you can control every day that you show up. Take care of your pregame. Just throw the pitches that you're capable of, and all the results will take care of themselves. That's called the process. The Dodgers do such a wonderful job in the minor league system of teaching these guys to just focus on the process and don't obsess over results. But then once they incorporate them into the major leagues, they give them such small runways that the only thing that these guys can concentrate on is results, which is making it very, very difficult for them to get comfortable. And, we all know that baseball players have to be comfortable. So those are my thoughts on some of the things that are happening as of late. Not going to cover the minor leagues. Hey, if you want to go to one of my social medias, Landon Knack had a 6-inning performance the other night that was just simply fantastic. His spin rate was absolutely awesome. Wanted to mention that. Also wanted to mention that Kendall Williams was back. He had a great performance. I have a lot of detail on his start on all my social medias as well. And Gus Varlin, he threw 2 innings last night. He almost hit 99. He was 98, I believe 98.6 with his 4-seam, and his spin was above 2,500. So make sure and go check out in the last couple of days on my social medias all those guys' performances. And Ryan Wardo had a couple of home runs last night and 3 hits. Hunter Fiducia also had a home run last night as well. And Justin Yurchak, he had another home run and had a couple of base hits. So he's been hitting really well as of late. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope you also, I will not have a show tomorrow, 4th of July. I'm going to enjoy that day off with my beautiful wife and my beautiful pup. And so going to enjoy that day off. So the next time you'll hear from me will be on Wednesday morning. So hope you tune into that one. Just a reminder before we get out of here, hey, just, if you would like to help Dodgers Daily by donating, we have a GoFundMe account, and the link to that is in the description. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, and make sure your notifications are turned on. As always, thanks for tuning in, and go Dodgers.